up, homies? I'm Daniel Rumbles,
And I'm S.A.G.A Emcee.
and this is the show no one asked for, Ep.8. How you doing, S.A.G.A? Welcome back, everybody. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm all
Doing
right.
good?
I'm
Yeah,
tired, but here we are.
yeah. I could tell. I could tell. Thought you were faded, but you know,
No, I'm just tired.
yeah, yeah. That's crazy.
Anyway,
Anyways,
let's jump right into it. I
wouldn't be a
finally
problem.
saw Sinners.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was gonna say being tired wouldn't be a problem if you were a vampire.
That is true.
Yeah, yeah.
It's true.
Hey, you're being tempted.
But
I
yeah,
see it.
I know. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I thought about it. I've thought about it. Like, if that was a real thing, I thought about if I would be down to be a vampire.
Dumb,
Dumb?
dumb. Yeah, dumb.
Dude, I already sleep. Well, I don't sleep during the day because I have work now. But I mean, I used to sleep during the day just fine, and then come back out at night
No, I'll
to
tell you why
live.
it's dumb. I'll tell you why it's dumb. It's because you lose all your humanity, so it's not even you anyways. So it's like you're not like you have the rest of your life to live right now as you, and you can cut that
Okay,
short and think you're going to live forever, but that's the illusion, right? Once you become a vampire, you're
right.
just kind of like a hive mind vampire person. You're not you anymore. You're not you know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
not going to
Also,
be
so
into, huh?
you've been, you've
What?
been,
What?
you've been a vampire.
No, but I'm just saying I wouldn't want to. I would still want to be me. I don't want to be nothing else. Like it is tempting because of the stuff, the results of it, but it's like it's not really you
Right.
experiencing it. So it's like why would you even sign up for that? So I'm not saying like the aspects of it aren't cool or tempting. I
Right.
understand, but I just think like,
So
uh-huh.
when it comes to the whole hive mind, right? Is that every vampire though? Is there no different like lore and no different story where that isn't a thing?
Well, you do lose your humanity just in general, but you do
Right.
become like maybe not a hive mind, but you become so like in the lore, like Dracula, right? You when if he wants when he bites you, you kind of become controlled by him, right? Like you're now
Right. Your
his minion.
host. Yeah.
If he didn't already influence your mind as a human, but
Mhm.
but he definitely controls you if you're a vampire under his bite or whatever, and
Right.
so and let's say we take out that aspect, right? Let's even take out the hive mind or the being controlled by something, which definitely is a no-go for me. But like let's even take that out, right? You still aren't you, right? Like so even if you weren't controlled by whoever bit you and you can make your own decisions, you're still not going to like you're not going to like make hip hop still. You're not going to like make hip hop tracks. You're not going to fucking go to concert. You're not
Why
going to do
not?
that. You're not going to do the same stuff. You're not going to do the same
I
stuff.
am.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I
And
am.
even if you do, it's not you experiencing it. It's this demon devil version of yourself. You know what I mean? It's not you. It's not you. You're
I'm gonna be
cold. You
making
can't feel
fire.
warmth. You can't feel taste. Like you can't feel and experience these things anymore. Ever again.
I
Ever.
I don't need
Forever.
it.
Yeah, see, nah, dude.
I
That's
don't need it.
not, I don't know.
It's
That's the
overrated.
difference. That's the difference.
It's all overrated.
You're a
It's all
heathen,
part of the
bro.
illusion.
You're a heathen,
I'm
bro.
already I'm already deep in it. I've already got my little bark, my
I
mic,
know
my little
you're
mic, my little mics, my little marks right here.
yeah.
No, I mean no. So obviously, yeah, like when you break it down and you think about it, like yeah, I think it'd probably be cool for like the first year,
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
realize like, oh shit, like I can't taste stuff.
Yeah.
I have no reflection,
Yeah.
like the sunlight, I can't see it,
Yeah.
Um, yeah, those things eventually, I think, like, and probably even faster than a year, maybe like within the first couple months, you'd be like, oh shit, I fucked up.
Yeah. And then you
Yeah.
can't go out in the daytime. And like, what cities are open all night? And even if they are open all night, they kind of die during the nighttime. You know what I mean? Like it's nighttime.
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah, but even Vegas slows down for a few hours at night. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's not.
Hey,
I don't know. And
vampires need to rest though,
you can't have any sunlight Ever again? That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah,
Ever again, ever in all of life, all eternity, you know?
yeah, that would suck.
Unless you get hunted by some like vampire hunter too, you know?
Or you just wear like a whole thing, you know.
Yeah. Oh, true, true. That's true.
You just you just walk out into
Or can't the
So yeah, I mean,
Twilight vampires walk in the day?
oh, they can, but then they shine because they're fucking made out of diamonds, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so weird. Like
Yeah.
the crazy part about that is like, could you mine them? You know, can I like take a chisel and take a piece off of the face and be like, hey, how much does this cost? How much is this worth?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't
like
I don't know, dude. That whole lore is really weird. It's like whatever. I isn't it, I don't know which one is which, but isn't Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey, aren't they like fan fictions of each other or something like that?
is
One of
it
them is like fan fiction of each other. It's like a it's like inspired by or something like that, you know?
really?
Yeah.
Then I don't know. No, I've never heard that, but nor have I like looked to see if that was a thing. But
I mean, get all your facts right here from the show no one asked for. That's a straight fact.
disclaimer: the events, topics, and opinions stated on this show are not real. Do not quote us,
Strict,
please.
strictly entertainment, everybody.
Strictly.
No,
Yeah.
but it's a Twilight's one of the
So,
greatest vampire movies of all time. You know.
right.
Yeah.
But speaking of a real good vampire movie,
Hmm.
Sinners.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I know you had seen it before I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
Fantastic.
and so I went with my brother-in-law and one of my friends and so we saw it at the Vista Theater.
Oh, cool.
So that was one of five that had it in its entirety the way he shot it, you know. The other
Yeah.
one he shot also in IMAX cameras too, right?
Yeah.
But it was the ultra wide Panasonic.
Yeah.
So we got to see like the whole side, the whole screen, right? Um and have you ever been to the Vista Theater?
Yeah. Which one is it? Where is that one?
I think it's in Hollywood or on
Oh.
Sunset. On Sunset or Hollywood, I forget which one.
I think I've been there like once or twice, but so long ago I
Okay.
don't remember. You know.
Well,
But
it's a pretty
it's dope.
sick theater, yeah,
Nice.
to
Nice.
watch movies at. And it's also owned by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have been there, but only like two times. That's right. That's the Tarantino
Okay,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
So
cool.
that
Yeah, yeah.
that's that one.
Cool.
But oh man, dude, that movie was I really like that movie.
Yeah,
I
no,
was just
it's
like,
fantastic. It's so great. Um yeah, and like it's really it's like it has depth to it, you know. It's not just like a vampire movie, it's not just a gangster movie, it's not just
right,
a movie about music, it's not just about vampires. It's crazy. It has all these kind of like allegories, right? You know what I mean? And I thought it was really well made. And like you said, it's the first time I think so. Nolan was the first, I think, to make a full length feature film with IMAX cameras,
mm,
but I think Coogler is the first time that he made it to where it switches aspect ratios from IMAX to like 70 millimeter or something like that, like where
right,
it just changes aspect ratios, and it kind of like keeps the viewer it's interactive, right? And
right,
you
right.
don't even know you know, it's like you just get sucked into this movie. It's what really well made. So I thought it was great.
So I know people and you had told me this too before I saw it. You're like, think of From Dusk Till Dawn,
Oh, uh-huh.
but like in a certain time period with slavery and um you said something else. Oh, but and a more musical. I mean, actually, From Dusk Till Dawn has a pretty good musical element into
It
it because
does.
it's that cantina,
It does.
and then that band that plays.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting who it is right now, but
Yeah.
um,
Something
but what I
Martha or
wanted,
something.
yeah, but
Yeah.
what I wanted to say was From Dusk Till Dawn. I feel like it happens fast, like
Mm. Mm.
you follow these two brothers. they're talking about, this heist and all that, and then boom, like it jumps into them being at this place to chill, and then all of a sudden it's chaotic, right?
Hmm.
Which, don't get me wrong, Dust Till Dawn, dope ass movie. Love
Yeah,
Dust Till Dawn.
yeah,
From Dust Till Dawn.
right.
Um, but I felt like for this one, I tell people it's like that, but with more of a, I feel like a more drawn out, fleshed out story,
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for
because
sure.
like I watched the first maybe 50-60% of the movie, right, when I was watching it,
Mm,
until the vampires hit, when they do hit,
yeah,
um I had forgot that that's what I was watching.
yeah, yeah. It's almost like you're watching like an old school gangster movie, you know,
Right.
and
And
then
I'm
it
just like
turns into
enthralled.
this. Uh-huh.
Right. It turns into this bloodbath, right? But I
Yeah.
was like enthralled with these characters, and I was like, oh, this is dope. And then I was like, oh shit,
Mm,
this is a vampire movie.
yeah.
Totally forgot that for a second.
Yeah, you know what's so funny is that I got a bunch of shit online because I said that um I said that like I commented on one of Blu-ray's posts where he
Right.
posted, "Hey, what about that tamale shop in Sinners?" And then something like that, something like, referencing, Latin people, right? And so then I was like, oh yeah. And then, also it's like clearly it has inspiration from, Dusk Till Dawn, right? And people were like, what, why are you trying to take credit from the movie? These are lies, you're lying. And that's not what it's about. Kugler said it's about his grandpa and the inspiration, like the music that, he played all the time, like that was the inspiration. And I was just thinking in my head, like no, wait, I'm not. Or like, why are you even comparing this? Like, this movie's way better than Dust Till Dawn. And I'm just thinking, like, where did people hear? Like I said, it's similar to Dust Till Dawn. So obviously, even subconsciously, it may have had some inspiration, right? Because the story beats are
Right.
similar. Lots of the same types of characters are in there, and it runs through similarly, right? But never in that sentence am I saying that Dust Till Dawn is better than Sinners. I like Sinners way more. Sinners has way more depth. I think the performances are better. I think the production value is better. I think the action is better. I think Dust Till Dawn is more of a pulpy like type, you know what I mean? Like old school kind
Right.
of vintage type movie. And I'm down, like you said, I'm down for those, but I think Sinners is way more elevated, and just because I think that it's similar, um, in the story beats doesn't mean that I think Dusk Till Dawn is even close. I think Sinners is
Right.
way better. I think way better. And this is coming. I'm always skeptical of Michael B. Jordan. I'm not a huge fan of Michael B. Jordan, like right off the bat, but I, because he used to always make that kissy face, dude. It's just like the only face that he'd make, and it really freaking annoyed me. But when he has these
But
performances like Killmonger, Creed, and now Sinners, I don't care what, if he annoys me. I can look at his performance and be like, whoa, that's good. You know what I mean? And so
right.
in this one, I was kind of skeptical too because he plays his own twin brother, and even with good actors that I like, that always kind of makes me feel weird when I'm watching it. So when I was going into it, I was like, man, I don't know if that I'm gonna get over that. And he played it really well. I really liked it because I'm glad we didn't, like, they're different enough, but they're also similar enough, like brothers. It's not like one acts like a total clown and like a degenerate like
Yeah.
weirdo, and then the other one is like this like straight shooter like goody two shoes guy. It's they're similar enough where you can tell these guys are brothers. They like hang out a lot, where they're similar enough, but they also have
Right.
their own personality as well, which is that's like how brothers are, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, I really like that aspect. I thought I wasn't gonna like it, but Michael B. Jordan did really well. You acted really well, I thought,
No, I it wasn't like I didn't think the guy, yeah, I didn't go into thinking like, oh man, hopefully it's good, like in terms of him playing both parts.
Mm,
But I will say I was very satisfied on how good it was
yeah,
that he
right,
played those two people, right?
right, right.
Because yeah, and I agree with what you're saying. You don't want it to be like, hey, we have to make both of these characters different, so
Yeah,
let's make them both the opposite,
the
you
opposite.
know?
Yeah, yeah. It
Right,
doesn't
like
it
the
wouldn't
the
make
furthest
sense either.
extreme.
And it wouldn't make sense
Right.
either. It wouldn't. They're
Yeah.
twins. They're twins, and they're brothers.
No.
Like it doesn't. What? Like they
The,
have to be similar in a lot of ways, you know, and they are. They are. But
the thing that I want to see
mm,
is like the behind the scenes of how he shot those shots,
yeah, yeah,
because it's like, again, and it's like we know that he's talented actor, right? we
right,
we know when these people double themselves, like Michael Fassbender in Covenant, right?
right, right, right.
um you know that they can do it because
Yeah,
they're talented, but then it's like, oh shit, like I'm trying to see where it's not real,
right.
but I'm just like, damn, this shit is fucking clean.
Yeah. Well, so I'll say this about Covenant before we keep talking about Sinners, but I'm not like a huge fan of freaking Covenant, but Fassbender's performance is insanely good. It's insanely
Right.
good. Like I mean, you can say what you will about that movie, but his performance is freaking like master class. I was like, whoa, Fassbender can act. You know, obviously we know he can
Mhm.
act, but that was one movie where you can definitely see he really acts his ass off, you know, and so and
Yeah.
yeah, and those, but those, I kind of always expect, like you said, I always expect to see that moment where I'm like, oh, this is not real. Like I can see it, but in that movie you can't. And in Sinners, some moments where I'm kind of like, but not really. Like you have to really be paying attention and really be nitpicky, but for the most part, you can't really tell, you know. So it's
Right.
I think it's really well. The music was mind-blowingly insanely good. The music
Oh
gave
yeah.
me goosebumps, dude. Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like, and you can
Dude.
hear it when Sammy starts talking, just talking, you can hear it like early on in the movie, just when he starts talking, that you're like, "Oh, dude, if this dude starts wailing, this is going to be insanely good." And then when he starts singing in the car, spoilers, spoilers. I don't want to, I don't know if we already spoiled the movie, but
Yeah.
if you haven't seen
I mean,
Sinners Choose, we should spoiler warning. But yeah,
oh yeah.
definitely
No.
spoiler warning.
Yeah. It's maybe I'm hoping from the title, when I title it, that, and then from the beginning of our conversation, that people will know that we're talking about it. So then,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
mindful of it. But um, I will say no. Yeah. As soon as the first song plays, I don't
Hmm.
even remember when it is or what. I know obviously what it is, right? Um, but dude, I was just like, oh my god, like I need this fucking vinyl record. Like when it comes out, I need this whole soundtrack. Like
It's out on
it's so
Spotify
fucking
already,
fire.
and I've been
Yeah.
listening to it on repeat. It's so
Yeah.
dope. It's so dope, dude. Goranson or
Yeah.
whoever the guy that did the score
Hmm.
for it
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
insane, man.
Yeah.
Insanely good.
Ludwig or Ludwig. Yeah.
Ludwig, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Goranson. Yeah.
crazy. That was wild. And then the song, dude, the scene where that's the scene in the where they start going
Oh.
through the history. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. That's the best scene of all year. All year, hands down, that's the best scene that I've seen all year. That was gnarly. That was so crazy. I would say
Yeah. So
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
no, yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm saying in terms of, because a couple other people mentioned, like, yeah, like they just kind of thought they liked it, but they weren't like blown away by it, which, it's fine. And I think a big reason was because they kept going back to like that whole Dust Till Dawn feel, right? Um, but in my mind, I'm like Dust Till Dawn has music. Every movie has, for the most part, unless like No Country for Old Men, which is amazing without most of it being scored, right? But um, Dust Till Dawn has, a big musical scene, but that's all I can remember in terms of music from that movie,
Mhm. Mhm.
versus this one. That scene that you're talking about is fucking crazy. I was just like, damn, yeah, the way that he shot that, the concept of it all was dope, but music is like an integral part of this film, like from top to bottom. It's even said in the beginning that like the lore is music related.
Yeah. Well, I think music itself is a character in the movie.
Right.
Music in the movie has its own arc. Music
Hmm.
has its own arc. You know what I mean? Like in the beginning, the dad is telling him like, "Hey, playing that type of music is gonna attract the devil someday." You know what I mean?
Right.
And it kind of does, right? But then in the end, especially in the end credit scene, right, where he's playing in the church, and then in the end when he's playing his guitar and he's playing to Stax and Haley Steinfeld's
Yeah.
character, um, it's almost like he's taking back ownership of music itself, right? So like the vampires wanted music and they wanted to use it for their own power, right? But and which is what his father warned him about, hey, you're gonna attract the devil. But I think he takes ownership again in the end, and it's kind of like he even uses the guitar itself to freaking hit it upside Remic's head, right? And then the blade gets stuck in his brain. It's like a symbolism to like be like, no, like I'm taking, like, music isn't just evil, I'm using it for good here. I'm smashing it on your head, I'm
Right.
killing the devil, I'm also playing it, I'm taking back ownership. I'm going to use my gift rather than be afraid of it, right? And I'm going to use it for good. I thought it
Yeah.
was really interesting. So I like that music was its own character. Like it has an arc. Like I said, you have the beginnings of it, like the introduction as he's playing in the car, right? And then it has
Hmm.
its peak where we get that scene, and even the scene Road to Dublin outside where they do that. That was so dope, man. That was dope, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
what? This is like, man, I want to start Irish dancing. This is so crazy cool. And then at the
No.
end, it ends and it kind of tells the story. It's like lived happily ever after with the thing. But I don't know if it lived happily
Right.
ever after, because if you look at the end credit scene where I think it's Buddy Guy, right? The guy, the older dude playing
Hmm.
the guitar, who's supposed to be Sammy.
Hmm.
If you look at the mirror that he's sitting across, there's no reflection. And so it's so I don't know if that was on purpose or if
Right.
that was there to kind of like leave up to interpretation, which I like to think that he took back ownership of his gift. But another way that you could see it is that because the movie is titled Sinners, and Smoke dies, Stack turns into a vampire, so maybe Sammy's not immune to a tragic ending as well. So maybe and the reason maybe you don't see his reflection is not because Stack didn't bite him, because he made that deal with his brother. He's like, hey, don't kill me.
Hmm.
He's like, all right, I won't kill you, but you leave Sammy alone. And maybe he didn't have to bite Sammy to get him to sell his soul to the devil for eternal life, right? To become a vampire, because maybe
Hmm.
Sammy sold it himself, right? So maybe Sammy sold it himself for fame and glory, and to be able to play like that.
Right.
Um, but
Yeah.
the reason I say I like to think about the optimistic ending where maybe he took back ownership of it is because he was already fantastic before any of that happened, right? So he
Right.
was already freaking fantastic. So I like to think he didn't need to sell his soul to the devil to be able to become famous, or
Right.
play fantastic. So
That's a definitely a good take on that. I
mhm.
didn't notice the reflection or not reflection. I'll,
Mhm.
when I watch it again, I'll look for that.
Yeah.
But I think I agree more with what you're saying, like on the latter part where,
Mhm.
yeah, like I think it's the happy ending isn't the happy ending is happy from those outside looking at it, right? But for
Right.
him, it's not happy because
You're
even
right.
even when he's talking to Stacks, right? Or is it
Right.
Smoke's the one that's still alive?
He still glorifies that last day,
Yeah,
just
he says
just
like
like
it,
Stack, just
right.
like Stack. Like they're
Yeah,
stuck. They haven't had a better day since then.
right. Well, he said the morning, like he's up until that event, it
Yeah.
was the greatest, right?
Right.
But he still understands like that shit happened and it has never left him,
Never left him.
Like he's
No.
constantly thinking of it.
Think about it. The
And I
scars
think,
are on his face. He wears it on
right,
his face. So like you
yeah.
can't. You know what I mean?
Mhm. So that's kind of it goes to that point where people say music is a gift and a curse,
Right.
So like he's gifted with that ability, but the curse is what had happened and everything that he got, he experienced. Um, the thing I wanted to say was that back in that time, blues was viewed as devil music. You know,
Yeah.
like it was such a polarizing sound, so that it was like for people to be like, oh, that's the devil, and you're gonna call the devil, for it to actually come out, you know, because we know music as it is right now. I mean, I don't think music is the devil. To me, on the contrary, to me, music is the best thing that man has ever created. If we even say that man, you know, or you know, humans created it, right? Um, but I want to say, like, to me, that is the greatest thing that we've ever. And again, you can debate, oh, but what about medicine and all these other things? For sure, those obviously are super important. And I'm not trying to denounce like all these technological advances or anything like that, but I'm saying like at the very core of humanity, right? Music has always been around. Like that's always been a thing. So for that one component to trans, I mean art too, right? Because the drawing on the wall, all that kind of stuff too, right? But I think music has, for that to live so long and evolve and become such an integral part of people's day to day, I think is amazing, you know?
I think in general, the lore of the blues being connected to the devil, and not just that, right? But more to what you said, I don't think it's necessarily that people knew that it was or didn't know that it was connected to the devil. I just think that in general, like, I believe this, but I think people feel this inherently. But I believe this to be true. But I think that things like music and art in general, I think is a sign, is kind of like a an indicator, that there's some sort of like higher divine force. I don't want to say
Right.
being or entity, but I think there's like where does that come from? Even if you say it's from you and your lived experiences or whatever, that spark of like that pure raw creativity that is within the soul, of a human being, that soul, like where even the artistic creativity or the art artistic value of expression, that a soul within you, that soul, not you, but that what that soul wants to express and where that comes from, has to be something like that we don't understand. And I'm not saying maybe it's a higher power, but it's a higher power than what we can even comprehend, I think. And so I think people felt that back then, that they were like, whoa, this music, like you said, it's not polarizing as in, I mean, it was polarizing as in bad, like people thought it was bad versus good and they had that debate. But I think people thought more like what they felt inside. And I don't want to speak for people back then or whatever, but I think what people were feeling is that, like, that goosebump feeling, that like weird feel, and they didn't know how to explain it. So then people were like, whoa, what is it doing to my skin? Like, that's
Right.
the devil. And I think it's just that it was beyond our comprehension, good or bad. I just think it was
Mhm.
beyond our comprehension, and people knew it. And so then they label it, oh, that's connected to a higher power. Oh, which higher power? God. Oh, which higher power? The devil. Like, it, you know what I mean? But they connected it to a higher power, right? Because it was just that magical.
Right.
It's like casting spells. You know what I mean? It's like what
Mhm.
poetry is, or art, or casting visions upon people, etching feelings into your soul. I mean, think about that
Mhm.
scene where it's kind of turning, and throughout history it's going, it's showing different, aspects of music throughout history. That
Right.
that that gave me goosebumps. Like, where does that come from? It's my connection to the music that I'm hearing as someone is expressing themselves. It's almost as they're living in that
Right.
moment, and they're talking to me, but they're not there. It's not real. It's just the sound. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's really it's a trip. It's a trip to me, you know?
No, yeah, I agree. I agree. Like the fact that, yeah, because that scene to me, I was just like, again, on top of the music. I mean, alone, if the music component wasn't there, it was shot like really well,
Oh my
right? But
goodness.
then,
It
yeah,
was so good.
right.
So good. It was
But
like a
then,
one shot, right? It was like a one shot. And
yeah, I think there was some cuts in there, but
yeah,
they were
long.
match cuts or
Right.
freaking zero cuts.
Right.
But
Right.
the music, yeah, like man, yeah, and going to your point, like yeah, like the fact that I'm feeling something after hearing somebody I don't know play something.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Like
When you break it back
it
down, like it's kind of nuts. It's kind of
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
And I I can think of that as yeah, it could be from some other place or
Hmm.
higher, divinity or power, right? Because someone across the globe plays a song that I've never heard, and I don't know this person, and somehow I either can relate because of the lyrics, right? Or I can feel happy, sad, mad because of the sound,
Hmm.
or I can like it's the levels in which you can reach through music
Yeah.
is fucking nuts. So to me, like, I mean, I'll geek out over music any day of the week.
Hmm. Hmm.
Film and music are like, man,
Yeah.
those two alone, right? But
Yeah.
but music has a higher place in my heart just
Hmm.
because, um, man, it's like the time it takes to make songs.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, but when done, the thing about music is that even if you do it wrong, you can
Hmm.
hit something really good.
Right. Right.
Like you can make something really good by doing the wrong thing in music,
Yeah. But that's
you
art in
know?
general, right?
For
Like
sure, for sure.
Bob Ross says, happy mistakes.
Yeah,
Happy
yeah,
mistakes.
right. Yeah, it's true. But the thing I think is like, and again, this is probably just this is just my opinion. Film for sure is a close second, but man, I've never felt how I've felt when I've listened to music.
Hmm. Hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
No,
Like
yeah, music
outside of
is
like
a trip.
right outside of the birth of my kids, like I think
Yeah.
that music is just like, dude, man, I'm just like I can feel the music,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is crazy. Like
Yeah.
you're getting goosebumps, right? But
Yeah.
on top of that, like I also, and I'm sure you feel this way too, but sometimes a song just hits or whatever, and you're just like, damn, like I don't feel it outside here. I
Yeah.
feel it inside.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in no particular place,
That's
because
what I'm
the soul
saying.
is somewhere in here,
Yeah, right, right.
but I get like I'm like, oh my God, like I feel like I have to tell somebody I feel like this, and
Yeah.
it's like people are like, oh,
Yeah.
cool, like yeah, me too, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's why I think music is discovered. It's not really created. It always exists. And where?
Mhm.
Where does it exist? It exists somewhere in the ether of like divinity, and that the people that give it to us through their expression, I think they're tapping into that divinity while they make that song or they express that song. So it's almost like, was that song always there and this soul just like found it or expressed it from itself? Like, where did it come from? But somewhere that we can't comprehend. I think that's where this like create, obviously the mind, right? But
Right.
I don't know, I think it's something deeper than that. And it's really cool because I think this movie really touches on that, and it's really cool that a vampire movie can touch on that. I think there's a few other things like, like we touched on the music. I do think
Well,
that it
one
was.
thing I
Uh-huh.
wanted to say before we jump off of the music. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll come back, but I kind of want to keep it in this pocket.
Of course.
I was gonna say, and it's kind of just more bigging up your point,
Mm.
of like a higher, correlation to music and the universe, I guess. But um, like so, obviously I do music, but when I write music, it's I don't just sometimes. Yes, I can just sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to write this to nothing, or I'm going to pick this song and I'm going to start writing because this is the topic I feel. Um, but the majority of the time is once I hear that instrumental, once I hear the melody is really big for me. Like, drum patterns, all that. Oh, like, head nodding, that's sick. But as soon as I hear the melody, before I hear anything else, percussion, drums, nothing. If I hear a melody, I already know 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna like the song,
Yeah.
right? And in that 9 times out of 10, like it's very, very rare that I'm like, oh, you went a different way. I didn't think that was gonna happen. But but in those times, all the other times, it's like the music is telling me, hey, this is what you're gonna feel and this is what you're gonna write
Right.
based off of that. Like I'm
Right.
not like I'm gonna because I can listen to a happy melody and
Mm.
still write some sad shit,
Yeah,
like
for sure. For sure.
like sad,
Or vice versa. Or vice
right.
versa. Yeah. And
So yeah,
that's the thing, is the varieties are endless, right? It's endless, it's infinite, right? And
right.
yeah, if I had to critique one part about that scene, it's like not even really a critique because I didn't really feel it, but I do feel that the transitions between the different styles of music, you know, the different times, was
Hmm.
slightly abrasive, right? Like it could have been slightly more smooth, you know, but I mean,
Okay.
it's still my. I like I said, it gave me goosebumps. I'm not talking shit. I'm not even like criticizing. I'm just saying like I can like it would like change to the next kind of style of music, and then it would transition, and then kind of like boom, and then like go to the next style, you know, and which was cool. I'm just saying like I
Right.
kind of noticed the transitions rather than it just being smoothed out and into it, you know. But I loved it.
No, I get
Again,
you.
like I said, it's my favorite scene of the movie and of the whole year so far, you know? So I
Yeah,
thought the music
it's
part
crazy.
was really cool. And actually that guy Sammy, that's his first acting role ever. The guy who sings, the cousin who sings
Yeah.
and plays the guitar, that dude, that's his first time ever acting ever. Isn't that crazy? That's
Yeah,
wild.
I heard something that somebody told him he should audition for it, and then he went for it, and then here we are. Like as soon as that fool started singing, I was like, "Oh God, this
Yeah.
fool's super talented."
So
You know?
good, right? Like he literally
Yeah.
just sang the first word, and I was like, "Oh, what? Like what is going on?" You know, it was
Right.
crazy, crazy good. And here's another theory, right? Here's another theory: is you know how he thinks it's the guitar that's owned by this like famous guitar guy, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
you know Smoke tells him like, you know, no dude, that was owned by our dad, like you know, later in the movie he tells him like, no, it wasn't owned by that guy. Stack was lying to you, that this is owned
Right.
by our dad. And there's a cool theory that says like his dad that owned that guitar was Robert Johnson, who made the deal with not the devil, but like, you know, the gatekeeper of hell, and you know he
Right.
made the deal at the crossroads with him and
Mm.
became famous, because they're saying that with Robert Johnson, the way the lore goes is that Robert Johnson was actually getting booed off stage, and he would get booed out of the juke houses, right? And just
Right.
one day he came back and was like blowing everyone's mind like they'd never seen before. And so then the
Right.
lore go, and then he obviously he had the hellhounds that chased him throughout life, and so because he had sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads. And so then the lore goes that they passed down the guitar to his kids, and then the kids passed it down to his cousin. And so that's why kind of like tragedy still follows that family, right? It's still, the devil was still kind of following that family throughout time, throughout history,
Right.
right? So it's a
Yeah.
cool theory. I don't know if it matches up timeline wise, but it's still a cool theory, you know.
Right.
So,
Another thing that I thought they did really well was the whole point of the vampire. Like, you know, he was Irish, right? And the fact that, you know, he goes to, you know, he's trying to get out. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. The representation of like Indians being in that time period, Asians being in that
uh-huh.
time period.
Yeah.
The whole tamales thing is that yeah, that was a whole big thing in that
Yeah.
time, that there was actually migrant workers that were Hispanic
Yeah,
in
because
the fields.
that's
And so
because yeah, because they had to take the place of the slaves. So first
right,
actually the Chinese took the place of the slaves, but they wouldn't work for like too low of wages. And then the Hispanic people came in, and then that's
right,
how they were like eating the tamales, and that's how tamales were introduced, you know.
right.
So but it was cool. It's
So
cool. He added
it's
all of
cool
that
that there's those little,
tidbits.
yeah,
The little tidbits. Yeah.
historical, you know.
Yeah. That's what I'm
But
saying.
what
It's
I was
like
gonna say is, well, what I was gonna say is that, like, so the Irish part, what I really found, and like I didn't think of it in right when I watched the movie. I actually kind of like was thinking of it later, and then I found something that was like, with it brought that point to a bigger scope, right? But it was that the main vampire, he knew what it was like to have his whole his family and his country and his ethnicity kind of in that place where they're trying to get, wiped out or overtaken, right? And so when he's escaping, the Indians who are trying to get him because they know he's a vampire, and he finds the KKK members, right? Um, his whole thing is like, oh, we're not the same. To him, he's like, dude, all these fools are like, he doesn't know what this whole racism shit is, but he understands that, like, damn, these fools are trying to be bad to these fools, and I understand what that's like, right? So then when he's talking to Smoke and Stacks later, wait, Smoke, right? Smokes,
Yeah, Smoke. Yeah, Smoke is the
right,
old the like the more calm
right, right,
one.
right.
Stack is the
When
one
he's
that
talking to
turns.
him, right,
Yeah.
when he's talking to Smoke later, and he's telling him, he's like, oh, dude, I did you guys a favor, like. These white fools were gonna come here and kill all of you. Like he sold you this land, but he was coming back anyway.
Mhm.
Like there's that point where he's like, I don't give a shit about this whole racist shit. I'm telling you, we can all just be, all of us just together, vampires take over this whole fucking world. But he's like, this racist shit, I don't give a fuck about that. Just
Mhm.
trust me. Being on this side, you'll never have to deal with this other bullshit that has now come since I've come to pass. I
Well,
thought that
that
was a cool element.
Well, that's the thing that I was gonna say is that I think, well, first off, I think that Remick ages himself, right? So when he says that the Christians came and they took my land and they took my people, killed our people, and
Yeah.
whatever, that he dates himself back to when the Christians came to Ireland and they took it. So he's like over 1,000 years
Yeah.
old. He's like really
Right.
old, and so then the other thing is that, like how you're saying, is that first he goes to the clan members, right? And he kind of conveniently changes his culture, right? So he's an Irishman. He's not really down with these like racist white dudes. He's not down with
Hmm.
that. And so, but then he sees that that's the way to survive. So he changes and he kind of is like, no, I'm just like you. I'm a clan member too. And
Right.
even, and then he does it again when he talks to Smoke and Stack. I'm just like you. I've been wrong too. I'm just trying to, I'm just like you. Come on and let me in. Give me your music. Give me your music
Right.
so that I can give me your music so I can use your music. So it's almost like not like a culture vulture, but because I don't think it was that like on the nose, but I do think that the
Yeah.
movie makes a statement about people trying to steal other people's identities, right? So it's like maintaining your own identity. So even if you look at Sammy, right? Sammy's trying to break out of the identity of his father and live his own life. And even though Smoke and Stack are telling him don't go to Chicago, he says the exact opposite. I'm gonna go to Chicago. He like literally says right after because he wants to make his own decisions. It's like, no, I don't want to be defined by my father. I don't want to be defined by you telling me not to do this. I want to do my own thing. And that's what he tells him. Remember, he tells Smoke after
Hmm.
where he's like, dude, I'm gonna do my own thing. And I think that that's what the whole movie's about. Smoke and Stack, right? They worked for Capone in Chicago and they kind of came here to like make something of themselves, so they're not really
Right.
just working for the Capones, right? And so I just think the whole movie's constantly like telling us like people are just trying to maintain their identity. Even Haley Steinfeld's character, right, where she's allowed in even though she's like white presenting, right? She's allowed in because of her
Right.
history with these with the brothers. And it's like she's even saying that her identity is blurred. There's blurred lines there. It's
Right.
it's just constantly talking about identity, and I thought that was really important about how people take that back or how people maintain that. And some do it with sin and others do it, like eventually the movie shows that he takes his own identity back and he succeeds, right? But I feel like a lot of
Hmm.
a lot of the characters in the movie, they fail to temptation, right? Or you
Right.
know and so that's why I like to think that
I was gonna
Sammy.
say,
uh
no, go finish.
well, I was gonna say that Sammy, I like to think that he doesn't succumb to temptation, and he plays music, and it's his again, and it's like his identity, but I don't know,
Right.
again, like I said, I think it's up for interpretation, but I like to go with the more optimistic view.
Right.
Mm,
No, I can again, I could see that too.
mm,
What I was gonna point out is, and I'm a fan. But the preacher's dad, what is it, Sammy's dad,
Mm,
um, I don't know if you know this, but that's Saul Williams. So Saul Williams came out. He did a lot of slam poetry. He has albums out.
mm,
He redid a song, "Bloody Sunday" by U2.
cool.
He's been in a lot of different movies like K-Pax. He's in there's a lot of things he's been in, but
Mm,
I found out who he was based off of his poetry, spoken word, and then his music. Um, but like I saw as soon as like the opening scene and the sun goes after he's already scratched up and he's goes and I see the preacher, I was like, oh fuck, that's fucking Saul Williams, like the great
yeah,
Saul Williams.
right.
Um, and it's dope because I think his dad was within the faith. I don't know if his dad was a preacher, but he knew that world. Um, and so it's cool to see him to play that part, and also through his music, you're trying to get people to hear what your word is, your message, right? So technically, it can be like preaching, right?
Yeah,
So I thought there was like really different elements that he knowing who he was and him being able to play this character as small as it was, but impactful, right?
yeah.
Um, I was like, damn, Saul Williams, like, does it all because yeah, his music to me is dope. And yeah, to see him in it was like, it was dope, you know?
Yeah, no, I think really everyone really shined, and even Sammy, when we're talking about the music, like you're saying, even at the end, even at well the beginning, but is also the end, right, where the
Right.
father is telling him, please put down the music, and even in the end, like that's the arc, right? So like in the beginning, you
Mhm.
think that scene kind of shows like, oh, is music bad? Like he's telling him to put it down. What happened? Like, and we're wondering like, was it bad? Should he listen to his dad? Just drop it. Maybe drop it. I don't know.
Right.
And but at the end, when he holds it and he doesn't drop it, now it makes sense, right? Now we're like, music literally, not even metaphorically, it literally saved his life. So it's like his only safety of reality, where he's like, I'm not gonna drop this, even in the
Right.
house of God. I'm not gonna drop this. I'm gonna keep this. Is my weapon, is my gift, and he just refuses to let it go, and so I thought that was great. I thought all the performances were so fantastic. I thought even Haley Steinfeld, I thought she was great. I
Oh man.
thought
Yeah.
Leroy, the harmonica player. Oh my goodness, dude. That fool stole the show. That fool was so good. Jeez, dude. He has to be my
Yeah.
favorite character. He was so good, man. I loved his
I mean, he's a
performances.
great actor regardless. Like
So good, dude.
whatever he's in, he's great.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, whatever he's in, he's great. This is one of my favorite performances of his. Like it was so good, man. He's so good. You really feel it when he's telling that story about the clan coming in and doing some stuff to
Right.
his town or whatever. Man, dude. And the way he turns from like naturally talking, it seems so natural. It seems like he's like just, shooting the shit with the boys, and then goes into this story like casually, but then it gets deep. I don't know. I
Mhm.
thought it was sick, dude. And then how he can still somehow like be he was like a force of stability, like of like goodness. Remember, he even sacrifices himself, right? He like cuts himself to draw the vampires. And so he's able to be this like, hey, I'm the older dude here, but he's also funny. He's funny. He's hilarious. Everything he says is freaking hilarious. I was
Right.
cracking up, dude. It was so funny. He was great.
So if I had to pick out one thing, I was like not weirded about, but like I just didn't care for too much.
Mm,
I would have to say his death scene because I understand the point to like draw the vampires, right, to give them time, right. But man, like it was just like, all right, come get me, and it wasn't even like he was trying to fight back or anything. Like
yeah.
that was the only part that bothered me because I was like, dude, if I'm gonna sacrifice myself, I'm
I'm
gonna
going
start
out
taking motherfuckers
swinging.
down with me,
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I
you know?
agree. I
I'm
agree.
not
That did, and it almost did nothing. Like it drew them like 5 feet to the left. You know, like it didn't really like do anything. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it didn't.
Yeah. It was literally like,
Yeah.
nah, he's over here. Let's go back
Yeah.
this way.
It didn't really do anything. And
Yeah.
you know what's so funny is, again, I love the movie. I give it a 9 out of 10. So just so you know, okay. So I give
No,
it a nine
same.
out of ten. Huh?
No, I
Yeah.
said I agree. You know which is crazy though? I didn't think you were gonna like it as much as you did.
What? Really?
Yeah, and it wasn't for anything in particular,
Uh
like
huh.
because obviously you saw it before me, right?
Right. Right.
Um, but like hearing that you like when the movie came out and you're like you gave me those eyes like, dude,
Yeah.
this thing is fucking fire, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, and then I saw it and I was like, this shit is fucking
It's
amazing.
great. Yeah. It's amazing. So
But
good.
I don't know. I felt like I guess a part of me thought you might have liked From Dusk Till Dawn more.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what's so funny is because like everybody always thinks that I have no depth in my movie taste, because I do like Rambo First Blood. I like Predator. I like
Yeah,
stupid action movies. I can
yeah.
admit I like stupid bad action movies. I do. And but I'm
But that's
also
not
not.
what it was.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm also not dumb. Like I have eyeballs. Like if something's just good and happens to have depth to it, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm allergic to depth. You know what I mean? I'm allergic to goodness. Like it has to be flashy and bangy and murderous and bloody, and like if it's not, then I'm not gonna like it.
Right,
You know, and so I really like Dust Till Dawn too. Dust Till Dawn is one of my favorite vampires movies, but that's more fun. Where this is fun and has a lot of layers to it.
right.
Again, I think it just is a way more elevated version of what Dust Till Dawn is. And if I like Dust Till Dawn, now I have this movie that's like, oh, like a Dust Till Dawn, but meaty, like really meaty with
Yeah,
cinema. Like, dude, how do I
yeah.
not like it? How do I not like it? It wouldn't make
No, and
sense for me not to like it, you know?
and it wasn't anything specific, right? Because
Hmm.
again, you saw it before me, so I already knew you liked it, right?
Yeah.
But I guess for me, what it was I thought you were gonna be like, because again, and you've given movies that I thought were high, and again, we have a similar, like
Yeah.
circle of what we like,
There's a lot of
but then
overlap.
it kind of it moves right.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's overlap, yeah, but then there's sometimes you're like, oh, okay. And so there's been movies where I'm like, dude, this movie was fucking amazing. And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was good. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
so I thought this was gonna be one of those. And the crazy part was that um so my brother-in-law,
Okay.
and I have to say it,
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna like love it, right?
Yeah.
And then he was one of the ones that was kind of like, yeah, it was like, and it's gonna sound like he hated it, right? The way
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
like he thought it was good, right? But
Yeah.
I think he also fell in the part where he thought it was a lot more hype. And to me, I was like, I felt like the hype was justified,
So that's what I was gonna
like
say.
to a T.
Sometimes, and and I was telling Angel this, but I was like, dude, because he
Yeah,
was like, is he was asking the question, is Sinners overhyped? And the thing is, sometimes in life or in things, the hype is real. And I think the hype is
right,
real here, man. I think it's real. I think he really hit it. And again, and I'm not trying to like trash talk, but remember I was trying to make that point where like if you haven't seen like a lot of movies, like sometimes you have a weird expectation, and
right,
if you're just not blown away, it just doesn't make sense to you or whatever. So then you're like, I didn't like it, or I thought it was okay. But it's because you're not like, I don't know how to explain it, because I don't want to speak for people. I just think maybe they're not
right,
letting themselves be enveloped in it, because they don't have this like magnitude of volume of movies where they're like, they can kind of view how hard it is to make a good movie. And then so then when they see this, they don't see it as spectacular. They go, meh. And it's like, no, 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 that is crazy. If you've seen all of these other movies, this again, like if you've seen something like Dust Till Dawn, then you have to, again, if you're saying, if you say the sentence, I like Dust Till Dawn, then you have to
yeah,
love this movie. It only makes logical sense because, again, like I said, it does everything Dust Till Dawn does that you like in an elevated version. And I'm not saying, you know, that he hasn't seen Dust Till Dawn, but what I'm saying is the
Yeah.
example of, if you haven't seen Dust Till Dawn and then you watch this, then you're kind of like, I don't know, like, where was all the gang stuff? And it's like, where was all the, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, you just have like a weird, and I'm not even saying that might be one of their expectations, but I'm saying, like,
Right.
maybe you don't see how elevated this actually is. You know what I mean? And I don't know. That might not be it, but I do think that it helps people
Right.
like movies and dislike movies. But I think their range of taste is much better when you just have way more movies that you've seen. You know, I think it adds to it, you know, and you kind of appreciate
No.
things, you know, more.
Right. And again, like, yeah, I agree with that statement. And
Mhm.
I don't think that's what it was
Right, right.
for
Hmm.
him. Because after, like, he read a couple things, not even read a couple things, but he saw a couple, like, reviews or people just kind of adding some clips up on IG. And then in watching those clips, he hit me up and he was like, you know what, man, like, I want to see it again already.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, yes,
Oh, see,
that's
so
how
he
I
likes
felt
it.
like as
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
watching it.
yeah,
No, no, for sure. And I was
yeah.
just saying, like, he's gonna hear this and he's gonna be like, "Damn, dude, you fucking buried me with that comment."
Yeah.
But it wasn't that he hated it. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
that he.
Sounds
I
like he
think to
likes it.
me, like, I loved it, right? And
Yeah,
to
yeah.
him, he's like, "Oh, this was really good,"
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. The one
And so
Oh, no,
I
keep
was gonna say,
yeah.
so my other friend that went with us, he he kind of felt like it was a little overhyped, right? And he had a good point where he said, "What we should do, or not even a point, but more like a suggestion, and then maybe we can see where it lies." But he said we should do is watch both of them. So we watch From Dusk Till Dawn, and then right after that, watch Sinners, right? And then just you're fresh and you've seen both, and then you can just see, like, I think he just wanted to be like, he liked it too. He's if he watches this, he's gonna be like, dude, I didn't fucking hate the movie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, right, right. You're just
but like
like
he really
assing out all
liked
these
it.
people.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, they don't fucking know shit
Yeah.
about shit. No, I think what it is for me was that, like we came out of the theater, right, and I was just like, yeah, man, like, you know,
Yeah.
and they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was good, and I was like, what do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
mean
No, you're
good?
insane. That's insane.
Yeah, and and
That's
and
good, dude.
and again, it's different strokes for different folks, and also, like, sometimes, and the other one that I went with, Ariel, he told me, shout outs to him if he watches, um, he told me, he's on. It might just be one of those movies that is like a slower burn, like you watched it that first time and you're like, oh, it was good, and then when you watch it again, you're like, oh shit, like, no, this really hits. And
Well, the
that's happened to me before.
well, the movie itself is a slow burn, right? But that's because it has to
Right.
flesh out the characters. It even fleshes out the music. Like I said, it fleshes
Yeah.
out the characters, the allegories. It literally fleshes out
Hmm.
everything. So that's why then you can have the fun after. And again, like
Right.
you were saying earlier, it basically Dust Till Dawn doesn't have that where it kind of like fleshes out everything and then we have the fun. It kind of just like we're on this, like we're on the run and then we get to this bar and then boom, now it's now we're there's vampires. That's really it.
Right.
But there's a lot more like why that's even happening, right? It's there's a lot more why, there's a lot more how, there's a
Hmm.
lot more everything. It's again, it's just meteor version of it. I think it's really good.
Right.
I think the one there's one part where I thought was um like not my favorite part, and it's kind of like when the uh when the mom attacks the husband and then they burn together and then she opens the door and they all kind of come in. That whole sequence I kind of didn't like, really. Not I didn't like, but it was my least favorite of the whole movie. And I'll tell you
Right.
why. Like, one, I think Smoke would have killed her. Like, I think Smoke would have shot her before she literally murdered everyone by doing that. And the reason why
Right.
I think that is because I think a normal person would. A normal person would be like, dude, don't, or I will shoot you. Don't do it. And so I think Smoke, even more so being in violent war, being in gang violence, war with the Capones and stuff like that, I think he most certainly would have shot her in the back as she ran to the door. So that's number one. Number two, I didn't like about that scene is there's like seven of them. there's like seven or like five of them like ready to fight, and then they open the door and there's like 40 like vampires, and all of a sudden it's like 40 on 40. It's like I don't know where these like other good victims came from, but like all the 40 vampires are like eating like 40 different people that are they're like eating, and it's like how did these five people just like morph into like 20 more people? I don't get it. Like where is it? How did this happen?
So
And I'm like, what
so
the?
the funny part is I agree with you. So to break down that first part, right? When
Mm-hmm.
she's like one thing, and it'll piggyback, it'll go into what the other point is. But
Mm-hmm.
when she finds out that obviously the husband isn't who he says he is anymore, he's
Right,
already a vampire.
right.
And then the main vampire tells him like, I know where your family, like where your daughter is.
Oh yeah,
Like to me, that alone, like man, like she goes into that emotion where she's like, I'll fucking kill you, right?
yeah, yeah.
But then I feel like when she opens the door, it's
Mm-hmm.
almost a sign of like giving up,
Yeah.
right? You know?
Yeah. And
And so,
not
well,
only
go ahead.
that, but the other thing more to your point of what you're saying is like even if we grant that she's killing the father so that they don't kill the daughter, like you're
Right,
dead now and other vampires are alive and they know where your daughter is. Like it's too late. They know where it is because they share knowledge. So
right,
you killed the husband, like no, you have to live so that you kill all the rest of these vampires. You can't let them live. Like you sacrificing yourself. I don't know, that I get it, she was in the emotion of it, but I don't know. I just think that it was just kind of like a few little reaches that we had to suspend our disbelief. Like we had to suspend our disbelief that she wouldn't want to stay alive and make sure that her daughter's safe by killing all these vampires. Then we had to
right.
suspend our disbelief that Smoke wouldn't just freaking just shoot her in the leg or shoot her in the back and be like, no, we're
Yeah.
gonna stay alive. Like we're alive if we just stay in
Well,
here, you know?
so that's so that goes into my second point where I don't agree that Smoke would have killed her before, because the thing is she says, "Come on in," right? She invites them, right? Which that once she says that, it's over already.
Oh,
Like
you're
they're
right.
they're,
Yeah.
they're not going to not come in, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
right.
I think I don't. Yeah, see, and to me, it wasn't that he would have killed her. I think he understood, like, fuck, like you just fucked us, and to
Hmm.
shoot her is now one, wasting bullets, and two is just now like their fools are coming in, right?
Yeah.
But what I didn't like, I think, and it was again, this is like a nitpick, right? The transition from her going to like being like, dude, they know where we are. Don't you fucking care? Blah blah. Like they're gonna hurt our families. You lost a brother, and then all of a sudden it's, come on in. And
Yeah.
then they all like got their weapons as if
Yeah.
they were like, we knew she was gonna say that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the only part that I was kind of like, damn, they weren't even like, dude, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? They're like, okay, here we go. And I was
But
like,
but that
nobody was
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. They kind of like, I guess that's what more my point is, that they kind of just allowed it to happen where it's like, no, you see this person is becoming unhinged. Like someone do something. What are you like? They're kind of just like letting her
right,
become unhinged. And then the other thing, like you were saying, I guess it makes sense because she's unhinged, and that's why
right,
this would happen. But also, like you're saying, it kind of like her motivation changes like from one scene to the next. Like so, one scene she's like, I want to murder all these vampires, and then the next scene she's like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself, and we're all gonna die, and it's like,
right.
wait, no, what the heck? And so, you know yeah, that was kind of like that scene again. It was cool because it's like where the eventually we get Smoke fighting Stack and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of like, oh man, we got to suspend our disbelief. And then but
So
uh-huh.
so yeah, like that that's like the fork in the road or the juncture where you're like, well, we have to do
Yeah,
this to get
we
to this next part.
yeah, of
And
course,
you
of
you
course, of
accept it,
course,
right?
of
Yeah.
course.
You're
Hmm.
like,
Yeah,
maybe something better could have been done, but
right.
I'll take it.
Yeah, right,
But the,
right.
the, the fucking part that you're talking about is yeah, as soon as I opened the door, like, 'cause that was my thing. I was like, dude, there's only like 7 or 10 of
Yeah,
them,
yeah, right.
and there's all
Max,
these fucking vampires
Max. Yeah,
doing the Irish jig outside,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And then they open it, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, they're all dead now. Like, there's no way they can
There's no
stop
way
these
they
fools.
live. Yeah,
And then, dude, I fucking was watching and people were getting jumped, and I was like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, yeah,
Who's that girl?
yeah, right.
What the fuck? That
Yeah,
like that's
right.
the part that I was tripping out because I was like, dude, where were these fools hiding?
That's
In
what I'm
the
saying.
back? Like,
That's what I'm saying. It was just
yeah,
it
but
was
that was
just yeah, it kind
yeah,
of they didn't throw me off, but it was something that I did notice, right? But again, like you said, it's
yeah,
because you kind of like let it go because you're like, man, this has been perfect so long that you're like, I understand we have to get to the next part. It's okay. I'll let it
right.
go. You know what I mean? And so you let it go.
You
But
just do one of these.
uh-huh. Yeah, no, screw it, screw it. But those are the things that makes me kind of drop it to a 9 a little bit, but not anything. I mean, it's still 9 out of 10 for me. I thought it was fantastic. Another aspect. I mean, I know we've talked about the lore, but I thought it was really cool. Was Smoke's like baby mama, you know, and again, they had lost the baby and stuff, so there was still that connection. But her character was interesting because I thought it was cool that we talked about vampire movies, and usually in vampire movies, it's usually a priest or some sort of religious figure that is kind of giving the viewers and everyone the exposition, and we usually learn about
Right.
vampires through a priest or some sort of like that, right? Some sort of figure like that. But I thought it was really interesting and kind of cool little nod that this time we learn about it through like a voodoo lady.
Right.
And so I thought that was really cool, little like again, like you were saying, like the tamales, the even when the music is changing, there's the wushu dancer, right? The Asian, because the couple is dancing, right? So it kind of shows their ancestry too. So it's just
Right.
all these little tidbits about culture. Again, Road to Dublin outside, how they do
Mhm.
the Irish dance. Man, I thought it was really really epic. I thought it was a really epic movie. I thought it
Mhm.
was super cool. Um, Again, like I said, it's a few
Dude.
minor nitpicks. I didn't like that Smoke dies in the end. I get it. He had to have his moment where he returns to his daughter and his wife. I get it.
Mhm.
I get it. And we had to get him there, right? But like, I don't know. Like, I didn't want him
You didn't
to
want him
die.
dying?
Huh?
You didn't want him. I mean, obviously, he was a dope character. I love that both of his characters, right? But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, I felt like there's nothing left for him, dude, on Earth. Like, there's nothing. He couldn't even kill his own fucking brother.
Yeah. He couldn't.
You know, like,
Yeah. He
like to
couldn't.
him, he was just like, dude, I didn't protect my family. I couldn't avenge my family,
Mm,
and I couldn't put a stop to this. So to him, he's like, dude, the only thing I can do is, and I thought that was so dope to me. Like at the end when you find out that he told his brother, fuck, dude, like I'm not gonna kill you. I can't, but just don't kill Sammy, right?
mm, mm,
To me, like, and for him, because he's like, dude, I am powerless here.
mm,
Like I'm just now at the mercy of the vampire, and I'm hoping that you still have a piece of my brother in you that you understand. Just do me this one favor, please, and I'll let you go, right? And I love that he was just like, even though he wasn't his brother anymore, it's still
yeah.
that like, I got you. Like, there's nothing you can do to stop any of this, but I got you with that, right? And
Yeah.
then at the end where he takes out all those fucking clan members, like that's his like little redemption. He's like, dude, I can't save them, but I can damn well stop you guys.
Yeah.
And I think that was, to me, that was dope.
No, I thought it was cool, and again, I think I'm just, I would have complained if he lived, because I would have been like, oh, why did it wrap up in a nice little bow? Like, that's so silly.
Right.
Like, I get it. The movie's called Sinners. It's supposed to like kind of show the consequences of everyone's sins, and see and out, and then you can try and find the sins, right? You can try and see who's gluttonous, who's pride, who's envy, who's all these things, right?
Hmm.
And it's really cool. I thought it was really really interesting, really well made. um yeah, man, I like I said, 9 out of 10 for me. I thought the lore was
Right.
was dope. And where do you rank this in vampire movies? So like, what are some of your favorite vampire movies? I mean, obviously now Sinners, right? But like, what are
Oh
what
yeah.
are some other ones?
So man, Sinners, yeah, Sinners for sure is like. is up there. Top man, I would say probably even top five, maybe. Like
Whoa,
that
yeah,
shit.
it's good.
Yeah,
It's really good. It's
yeah.
so good.
Because
Yeah,
the
I
thing
love it.
is when you think about vampire movies, because there's a lot of them, right? But
Mhm, mhm.
and I won't say what my list is because I would have to really think about it, right? But I can tell you some of the ones that like off the bat stick out
Okay,
in my head,
yeah,
right?
let's talk about it. Come on, which ones?
So like in Interview with the Vampire,
Oh, okay, come on. Obviously,
yeah,
yeah, fantastic.
um, yeah, awesome. What is it? Dracula,
Bram Stoker's, yeah, yeah, that's it,
yeah,
a legendary masterpiece.
right. And then I would, you know what? My brother-in-law likes this one a lot too. 30 Days of Night.
Oh, that's come on. That might be the best. That might be the best. That's so
So
good, dude.
so he was saying that that's probably his favorite movie and vampire movie. And I told him I was like it's a fucking good one, right? Because
That's valid. That's valid.
yeah,
I would
it's
say
really
valid.
good
Yeah.
because the fact is it's isolated, so
Yeah.
there is
Yeah.
no like loophole on like, oh, how did they not get out of this, right?
Right. Right.
Um
Yeah.
the
No, it's good.
vampires are sick, right?
Mm.
Um yeah, so like overall it's dope, right? So it's
Yeah.
up there on like my
Yeah.
favorite
For
line
sure.
of that movie, and there was a line in this movie too that I really liked, but I can't I liked it so much I forgot, right? Um but in 30 Days of Night, he says, when the ladies like one of the ladies, she's like, oh God, right? And then he goes like close to her face and
Yeah.
he's like,
There's no
no
God here.
God. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, dude, like
Yeah.
the delivery, the look of like absent, no soul, like
Yeah.
just is such a fucking badass, scene.
Fantastic.
Um,
Yeah.
I would have to say I would put From Dusk Till Dawn in that category. Like
Okay.
I really like Dusk Till Dawn,
It's
and
so
it's one
good.
of
Yeah, it's great.
yeah,
I like those Till Dawn too.
um,
I don't know. I now with so many vampire movies, I think it would be in
right.
my top 10, top 20, but I don't know.
That's
I
why
yeah,
I have to revisit it and see where
right.
where where it places. What's another one? Nosferatu,
Oh yeah, I
like
don't know.
not the new one though. Like I'm just
Oh,
like in terms of
oh,
like the old,
the old one. Yeah, the old one's great. Yeah.
right.
But it's old. It's I
Um,
mean, it's dated. But
right. And so
it's
that's the thing.
fantastic.
Like it's one of those, and again, I'm sure once I really think about it, like it just goes lower and lower on the list. Not because it's not good, it's just that there's just so many more that have have gotten over it, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like I like
Um,
Bela Lugosi's the classic monsters. I like that Dracula. I like it. I thought
right,
it's
right.
really good. But again, like you start thinking about other ones, and I think it's still up
Yeah,
there. But I don't know if it's like my very favorite.
right. Blade, I mean, dude,
One and two, one
yeah.
and two. Yeah, one and two are
So
fantastic vampire movies.
so Blade 1 was dope. I think
Blade.
the only thing I will say bad about it is the CGI, you know?
Oh, I mean, whatever. It was
B-
cool back then.
Right, right. But Blade 2 to me, I was
Yeah.
like, dude, yeah.
That's
Blade 2
mind
was
blowing.
fucking
Mind blowing.
dude.
Blade 2 is one of the best movies ever made. Ever made.
Blade is
It's
is really
it's
fucking
so
good.
good. And it might be my favorite vampire movie. It's so freaking good. I love Blade 2.
Yeah, see,
Dude, I
and
love
and
Blade 2.
and I think with vampire movies,
Mm.
I think you can't really go too wrong with
No, you
like
can't.
where you're.
No,
I
you
mean, if
can't.
you don't have Sinners on your list,
Yeah.
then something's wrong.
Yeah, you're tripping. You're tripping.
Um,
Dude, have you ever
did
seen Blood Red Sky?
Blood Red Sky?
Yeah.
I can't say I have. No.
Okay, so I think it's like a Dutch movie or it's definitely a European movie and it's
Okay.
dubbed over, but it's
Mhm.
I don't want to spoil the story, but basically it's about vampires on a plane. And it's no, dude, I'm telling you it's really well
Okay.
done cuz you think it's going to be like Snakes on a Plane, like that type of movie,
Yeah.
but it's not. Again, it has layers too. I think it's
Right.
really cool. Um but
Okay.
yeah, if you haven't seen it, I think it's on Netflix still. But even
Okay.
even
I'll
you
check
guys,
it
if
out.
you guys haven't seen Blood Red Sky on Netflix, if you guys are looking for another vampire movie, definitely check out Blood Red Sky cuz it's isolated. It feels quick. It's like not this like, you know, 3 hour movie. It's not super
Right.
crazy. But it's really cool. I thought it was really cool.
Is it
Um,
recent?
I think it like after 2010, but it's still,
Oh, that's still pretty long. Yeah, it's pretty recent.
still, oh, it's not super
Two
recent.
two other ones that I want to mention. And I have to see this one again because I'm not sure how good it was. Like it's been a while since I've seen it. But Daybreakers,
Oh, Daybreakers with Ethan Hawke.
right?
Yeah, that one's
Like
good.
it was cool, right?
Yeah,
Right?
I wouldn't say it's like in my
Um,
top, but it was good. It was good.
okay.
Yeah,
What about Vampires? Is it called Vampires
yeah,
with James Wood,
yeah. That's vampires, and that's good too.
right? It
That's
had
good
some
too.
cool elements in it. I remember seeing
Yeah,
that one.
that's good.
Um, but then but then this is one that I was like, so on the anime tip is Vampire D Bloodlust.
Oh, dude, that's sick. That's sick. Also,
Yeah.
uh, what's that one with the girl? Is it called Blood? What's that one with the girl in the school outfit? She has the katana too, and she also hunts vampires. I think it's called Blood, but that's a good one too. I think
I
you've
don't know
seen
about
it.
that one.
There's like sequels to it too. Yeah, I bet you if you
Okay.
Google it, you'll be like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh,
It's called Blood,
with
right?
no, what's her fucking? It's a chick, right?
Yeah, it's a chick, and she's like in
Oh
a
no, I was thinking the one where they fight werewolves.
oh no, I don't know who you're talking about, but there's Buffy. Buffy's sick.
No, not no.
Buffy
You've
is sick
seen
though.
you've Underworld.
Oh, but that one's fun too. I like Underworld.
Yeah,
Yeah, Underworld's
there's like
sick.
four of them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's more. I think there's like six.
Is
Yeah,
oh shit, I've only seen
yeah.
like the first maybe three.
No, I've seen all of them, and they're
Okay.
they get progressively worse. I think there's one at the end that like before the last one that's like okay-ish,
Mm,
but like yeah, the first two are okay, and then
yeah,
the rest like, just start kind of going to poopy.
yeah. I like the first two. There was one other thing. Damn, I forgot what I was gonna say now. Um, yeah, I don't remember. But no, vampires. Yeah, I it's what about what is it, Castlevania?
Castlevania's sick, but there's also
Yeah.
Let
Oh,
Me In
Van
or Let
Helsing.
Van Helsing's sick. I
Ooh,
think Van Helsing's
yeah.
underrated. But it's you don't like Van Helsing? Oh my goodness.
We've
Hugh
talked about this.
Hugh Jackman, come on, bro. Hugh Jackman, bro. No, dude, you're crazy. Van Helsing's fun. I had a
Para
good time.
afuera.
Nah, you're tripping.
No, that one let me in though. That one is that
That's
damn. That
sick.
actually,
Top five,
yeah,
top
that goes
10.
up there.
Yeah, that's up
That's in
there.
my yeah, that's probably in my
Yeah,
top
that
five.
has to be
That
top
movie's
10
fucking
for
good.
sure. Top five, even,
That's a
maybe.
slow burn too, though.
It
That
is,
was a
but
slow
it's
burn.
so good. It's so good. And they
Yeah,
have
the
the two
payoff of that
versions,
one is
right?
good.
They have the two versions.
Oh,
Like,
there's two?
yeah, because there's like the European version and then there's like the remade version that we did.
Oh.
Yeah, so but they're
Oh,
both
then I
good.
haven't seen the okay, I haven't seen the European version
Oh,
then.
they're both good. Both of them are good. Both of them are
Okay.
fantastic. They're great. I love them both. But yeah,
Um,
those are up there for sure. Fright Night, Lost
right.
Boys, of course.
Ooh,
You know,
oh, Lost Boys. That's
yeah.
another one.
Come on, come on. How do you not put
Yeah.
Lost Boys and Fright Night too? Fright Night's sick too. You
Fright
know,
Night, Fright Night, yeah.
again, Buffy. Buffy
Um,
was sick to me. You know,
Buffy was cool, yeah.
yeah, it
I
was cool.
liked,
It was
yeah,
good. Not it's not
it
in
was
my
cool.
top, but it's a good one.
Right.
I
I feel
definitely
like
think
we're
Buffy.
forgetting like a big one.
Dude, we're missing a bunch of them. There's so many.
But I think there's like one where we're just like after we're done, we're gonna be like, dude, how come we didn't fucking
How
think
we
of
did
this
not
one?
mention it? Yeah, yeah. Which one? What?
Yeah,
Because I feel it too. I feel like we're missing a few actually that we're not even thinking about. Um,
right.
but we've mentioned a lot of them. Dude, did you ever see? Did you ever see the what is it called? The Demeter, the last ride of the Demeter.
Oh, I have not, no.
Okay, so
Yeah, I've been wanting to see that one. I remember you
okay,
telling
so
me it was not bad.
it was cool conceptually. I think the concept was really cool because
Mhm.
basically it takes one chapter of the Bram Stoker's Dracula. It takes
Right,
one chapter of it and makes a whole movie about it. And the one
mhm,
chapter is just the voyage that Count
right,
Dracula takes to England, right?
right,
And the whole movie is just about that, like how they transport the coffin there. And I thought the concept was really cool, but it kind of like the movie gets stale. Like you know, you're interested and you're kind of like feeling that whole like almost alien but on a old wooden
Mhm.
ship, and
Right.
instead of a xenomorph it's Dracula, but it's not done as well. You know, I didn't think it just it's kind of stale. You're kind of just watching it to
Mm.
watch it. So you are interested, and you are interested, but then like halfway through, you kind of are like, okay, you start looking at your watch, and you're like, oh man. And the Dracula looks cool. The Dracula looks really cool. I think the way
Right.
he looks is really dope. Uh,
Yeah.
I thought the kills were dope, but you know, not it's nowhere near any of these movies that we're talking about. I don't think
Right.
it's not even close, you know.
Okay. What about Vampire in the Bronx?
Oh, that's a fun one. That's a good one.
Hmm.
Eddie Murphy, I like that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's for sure a good one.
There
I'll
you
put
go.
that one up there. I don't know if it's in
Dude,
my
there was one.
top, huh?
No, yeah, it's good.
But it's
I
good.
mean, Twilight. Some people are gonna like Twilight. You know.
Who? Some people. What are you talking about? What are you talking about,
uh,
dude? Robert Pattinson hates Twilight. It's not even that he doesn't like it. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson
yeah.
both hate the movie. They're the lead actors of the movie. They hate the movie. So if you like it, then you're just like literally just like liking some like I don't know shit. You're just liking
I
shit.
mean,
It's like
I will say that Lego recently came out with the Twilight Lego set, and it looks sick. Like I like Lego, so just the build of the house because it's like a modular building. It looks pretty
yeah.
dope.
Are you team
Yeah.
Edward or team what's the other one?
Jacob,
Oh yeah. So which team are you? Are you team Edward or team
team,
Jacob?
team Jacob, man.
Team Jacob?
Oh,
Oh my
team
goodness,
Jacob.
it's hilarious. That's so
You
funny.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
dude.
fight
There's a
scenes in
fucking.
those are hilarious, dude. They're so
I know.
funny. No, it's
Dude,
great.
there's a part where he's already like I guess turned into like Jacob's already now a wolf or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's so stupid. But he's like he walks up to the main chick and he's like, "What's up, loca?" Like what the fuck?
Oh my
Like just
goodness. Great
random,
writing. Great
just
writing.
random. Get
No,
over
but
here, loca. Like I was like, what?
that tells you movies like that tell you that like dude, you can write your own script. You know what I mean? You can
Yeah,
write stuff like that. You can,
yeah,
and
it's
someone will take it, you know?
yeah. Man, there was this other movie, dude. This is how bad my fucking short-term memory is. I
What?
was gonna say, what about this movie? And then we were all gonna have, we were both gonna have a good laugh. And now I can't think of it. It was gonna be funnier than me saying Twilight, but I can't even remember the name of the movie.
No.
It's a vampire movie.
Which one is bad also?
It's bad. Yeah,
What is
I
it, dude?
can't.
Now I'm tripping.
Oh, no, that's not it. How about Morpheus or Morbius?
Morbius. Morpheus.
Morpheus,
Maury.
Morbius,
What Maury?
Boringus.
Is it called Maury? Maury? He's not the
That fool.
father?
Yeah,
You are not the father, Maury?
he did not bite you. You are not the father.
You are not the father. No, that
Dude, that'd
is
be sick though. We
what?
a parody of fucking
Morbius?
Maury.
You- Maury.
Maury. Oh man.
Oh man. No, dude, that
I'm
movie sucked ass. That Morbius is one of the worst movies. Like that's so bad.
so I will say this.
Hmm.
I don't know what it was. There was something I did like about the movie. I think it was, I don't know, maybe how he saw things. I
The
think that was kind
dancing.
of cool. Was it?
The dancing that the villain does.
No. No.
No,
I
no,
don't know.
no, no,
No, not that.
no.
I don't remember the movie, but I remember just like, oh, that's not that bad. But yeah, the overall movie was trash.
Dude, the whole Sony universe, I think, was like competing with itself to see how bad they can make superhero movies. Because think
Yeah.
about it. Think about it. It's like The only ones that are even okay watchable are Venom and Venom 2. That's it.
And the multiverse, the spider across the because that's part of it. No,
No,
that's a
those
Sony
don't
movie.
count, dude. Those are
I mean,
masterpieces. Those are
I know, but it's still Sony though. Is what I'm saying.
no, but I don't think it's like part. I mean, other than it's every Spider-Man universe is part of that, but I don't think
Right.
it's like directly part of that. I don't think it's like
I mean,
directly
Childish
part.
Gambino was in it. You know, he's there. Yeah,
Yeah,
as
so
the Prowler. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, but he's not in
I think
any of the other Sony movies.
oh,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, because he's in the. Well, I mean, yeah, he's in. No, because if you think about it, so well, so you're trying to say the Spider-Man, the Sony Spider-Man, you're not including any of those.
No, I include them, and even when I'm doing like a Spider-Man ranking of like
Mhm.
Spider-Man movies, I
Yeah,
consider those in there.
but I'm saying is that you're not adding those to the Sony side, even though it's Sony as well as
No,
Disney.
I'm not adding it to the Sony verse. No.
Right, right, okay,
Yeah. So I
right.
do
I get
consider.
what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But if I'm ranking all
Yeah,
Spider-Man movies, I put those in there.
right. Yeah,
All of them.
I think Venom is the only one that was okay,
Yeah. Craven is
and
horrendously bad.
even then they didn't get Venom right.
They didn't. They didn't.
Like
They got it back. That's what I'm
it's a
saying. Like,
different story.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was bad. And then so they did Morbius, and we were like, "Holy, what is this?" We were like, "How bad is this?" And then they were like, "Hold my beer," and then they made a freaking Madam Web, which is one of the worst
Yeah.
movies I've ever seen in my life. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, and I recommend again. I this is it, we're gonna disagree again, but I recommend people watch Madam Web. I recommend it so that people can see, like, dude,
I will watch it for a good laugh.
this is how bad a movie, dude. You're gonna be cracking up the whole time. I couldn't stop. I couldn't breathe. I was just like, like the
I
dubbing. They're
feel
speaking English and it doesn't match their lips, and they're speaking English. Like, what is What is There's no need for this. What is going on? Like, how did you guys mess up the audio? They speak English. You just have to hit record. What the heck happened? It's so it's so crazy, dude. I don't know how they messed that up. That movie was
I
so.
you know
Mhm.
the crazy part is when that trailer came out, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Because I saw the title Madam Web, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, Madam Web's a pretty cool character, in the Spider-Man verse, right?
Hmm.
And then I was like, I don't understand. Like,
Hmm.
what's
Hmm.
happening?
Yeah,
What
and
is
you
all of
don't.
this?
And watching the movie doesn't really help you understand anything. It's still really bad. And
Yeah,
so then they made Craven, which like tried to be worse, and it didn't, but
yeah,
it tried, and it came close. But it
yeah.
Madam Web was just way too bad. It was superior bad, and so. But Craven tried. Craven tried to take the throne. So you have these like handful of really bad Spider-Man movies. You know what I mean? Without Spider-Man.
Right.
Oh,
Oh shit! Damn, fucking knocked him out right there.
it's that
Jesus.
ghost from the last episode. But yeah.
That fool. Hey, how did you manage to come back anyway? Because that fool took you away.
Oh yeah, we had a scuffle. I won though. See, I'm here, and
Right. I don't know.
and
That fool's like, okay, punch you
and
again,
he's not
dude.
here. He's not here. You know. So, but yeah, my
Damn.
face got busted as you can see. But you should see the other guy. So
You can't see the other guy because he has
that's
no
how bad
body.
I beat him. You know?
um, one thing I wanted to mention about Kugler, and so people are tripping out. Going full circle. Um, People are tripping out because he has this crazy deal, right? That he owns the rights to the movie, right? Which, people are like tripping out, like, hey, you can't do that. But it's like, dude, genius. Like,
Genius, genius,
you know,
genius,
like why am I gonna get
absolute
fucking
genius.
screwed over?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And he gets money of the off of the
First gross.
right.
Yeah. Which is unheard of. Unheard of.
Right.
And you know what's so funny is that that's actually meta. That's actually meta, dude, because we just finished saying how the movie itself is about maintaining your own identity, right? Like
Right.
maintaining your gift, right? Your gift to make art, your gift to make music. And this dude
Mhm.
creates this masterpiece, which is the Sinners movie, right? And he maintains it. Even with what the movie's saying, it's like, not even in a malicious way, but just the way capitalism works, it's like in a
Right.
way that it kind of takes your property, it takes your what your creation is, and it puts it in a factory and then it makes money. No, he
Mhm.
was like, no, I'm not letting go of my guitar, right? So he's like, I'm not letting go of my movie. This is my movie and I'm gonna like own it, you know what I mean? And I just think
Right.
like that's such a meta, allegory that he even carries throughout the movie, and then also he does it in practice and we see it in
Mhm.
reality. We see the message of the movie in practice with this guy that's going up against
Right.
the studio negotiators, and he wins because he's maintaining he's like, I will not let go of my guitar. I'm not gonna, dude. I'm not gonna. Like, it's what saved my life. It's what makes me
Right.
me. And so I
The
don't know, I
crazy
thought that's
the crazy
fantastic, dude.
part
Hmm.
is that he was saying that he was like, broke as fuck after making Creed,
Whoa,
or
really?
like
Why?
or like right before he made Creed, or man, I'm butchering it,
Yeah, yeah.
but it was like had that come. I think so. What I'm trying to, I guess, just associate with it,
Mm.
whether he was broke after he made Creed or right before he made Creed, which would make sense that he was broke right before he made Creed. Um, but the cool thing is like after he made this, he made that he didn't make that mistake to where it's like I need to have something going forward. Like this has to be something that's gonna keep generating wealth for me, instead of just being like, oh, I made another movie and this is my portion. On to the next movie, you know?
Well, the other crazy thing about what you're saying is about how he's like, okay, he's letting the studios kind of own it for a while, but then it will revert back to his ownership. What's really cool about
Mhm.
that is that he just kind of sparked the whole universe, right? So you can kind of go
Right,
anywhere. There's a lot of like hints where we didn't get closeouts. So like the Indians, right? You could make a
right,
movie where it continues and it kind of explains where they, these like vampire hunters, these like Native American vampire hunters, where did they go, how did they see
right.
Remick beforehand, did they slaughter his whole like
Mhm.
vampire clan before that, you know what I mean, like how did that
Right.
go? You could, I don't like this. I actually don't like this. I don't like what I'm about to say, but it's just true. And so, because I like when movies expand and go forward. I don't like when they do
Not
prequels,
backward.
even if the prequel is
Right.
good. The thing is, I know studios only greenlight a certain amount of movies, and if I had a choice, I would prefer that they greenlight movies that expand the universe, not go back and then, you know what I mean? Because even if that movie that
Mhm.
they go back and we tell the story about the brothers in Capone's time, and how that happened there, right? We know they live. And so like there's no sense of danger in any situation that they are when I'm watching that movie,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, if they went back and they went with the Irish vampire and
Right.
how that came to be, I think that would be cool, because then you obviously know that vampires, in this world exist, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of this one, we still see that there's at least two.
Yeah.
So to go back and see where he got bit or how did this kind of originate, that would be cool. A new take on, Dracula and that whole lore, that'd be cool.
Yeah, no, it would be cool, but I would prefer, again, like I said, like if I had the choice, I would take a prequel over nothing. So I
Right.
would take a prequel over nothing. But if I had the choice between a prequel and like a sequel, I would choose a sequel. And so,
Hmm.
but the thing is, who knows? Maybe no one ever makes a sequel or like a tie-in movie or whatever. But what I'm saying is, he knows what he made here. He knows that he made
Hmm.
something where you kind of could go into other places. And the other thing too is that what if you do another like another culture's music, right? And you do this kind of the same thing where like the music attracts some sort of demon, maybe not a
Yeah.
vampire, something, and it's like kind of within the same universe but not, right? And so,
Hmm.
you know, or a different time period, right? Or something like that, a different culture, different area. You could do so many things, I think, with this. And I think it's smart that he's like, no, I'm taking back ownership at a certain point, and it's gonna be my movie. And that's really cool. I think it's genius, like you said. I think it's genius, you know.
Yeah. No,
So
I mean, yeah. Again, the movie. If you haven't seen it, I mean,
yeah.
if they've made it this far, then they're gonna be like, shit. I know the whole movie without most of
Oh,
the movie, but
true, true.
go see it again because that's I want to. Did you see it? What format did you see it in?
I saw it large format, so like you know, so you could see all of the aspect ratio changes and everything. So like basically
Okay.
IMAX. So we saw IMAX,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's the only way to watch
Yeah,
it.
I want to see it. I want to see
Yeah.
it in IMAX.
You have to see it. And then there's a really cool video on YouTube. Like, people, if you haven't seen the movie, this would be really cool to watch before you see the movie. But Ryan Coogler does a video where he
Hmm.
kind of explains the aspect ratios and like
Right.
how what you're supposed to kind of like notice when you're experiencing it or whatever. But it's
Hmm.
really cool to watch that before or after you've seen the movie. But just type in Ryan Coogler explains aspect ratios, and he'll tell you like kind of like what that's doing, and how they do it and how they do it. It's really interesting.
Right.
So
No, yeah, it's cool.
it's really cool, man. It's super cool. But yeah, there's you know this is I think this is my favorite movie of the year so far.
Mhm.
I think it'll get beat, right? Because there's still a lot of the year left. But I think this is a top contender and might still reign as my favorite by the end of the year. But I think right
Right.
now it's definitely my favorite of the year. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of interested in did you see that Mark Kerr trailer? The one
I
about
did.
Mark Kerr. What did you think about that?
Um, I'm excited because again, I think a lot of people, and I rightfully so, have given shit to The Rock that he only plays one character, which is himself in every action movie.
He does.
Um, but like, yeah, like he's done more dramatic things. He did this one movie, Southland Tales, way back, which wasn't very good, but it was the same writer and director that did Donnie Darko.
Okay.
Um, but his character in the movie I thought was good. Um, and he's done other movies where there's like glimpses of like, oh shit, like what is it? Be Cool. I thought he was a totally different character that he played in there.
Gridiron Gang too.
So
He's in that one too, right? Gridiron Gang,
which one?
the football one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
right.
He kind of
Yeah,
acts in that
so
one. You know.
yeah, I think he does, and I think people kind of discredit him, for that because he just makes these fucking action films, which I
Well,
like.
yeah, I like him
But
too. I don't shit talk him for that. And he even puts
right,
it in his contract that it has to be that way, right? Like he can't lose a fight. Like that's in his contract. Like he can't lose a fight within a
right,
movie, things like that. So it's like, he plays into it. I think the thing is that people started comparing his like catalog to, because he's like our Arnold Schwarzenegger now, our Stallone now. And so
right,
I think when you compare Stallone or Schwarzenegger to, The Rock doesn't have any depth. Where I think Schwarzenegger, he and Stallone, they allowed themselves to be molded by a different director. Where The Rock is like, I don't care who the director
but
is, I'm gonna be The Rock, and you're not gonna make me like look vulnerable in any scene at all. Like I'm The Rock, and I think that's been a mistake, and I think now he's noticing it, and I think now he's like, no, I'm willing to surrender myself to a director that wants to direct me. Just tell me what to do. I'll act it. I'll do it. Because we see in this trailer, this looks
right,
fantastic. This looks really good, and
hmm,
I think this might top Sinners, but I don't know yet. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll
right,
see.
right.
But
No,
but I think it's good.
I, I, I was gonna say, I think that, but because you're saying Stallone and what is it, Arnold, got into these roles where they were able to be molded by the director and all that. But the thing is, a lot of their movies, aside from like Rocky, right? But a lot of their both of their movies were action blockbusters. So I
Yeah.
think towards the end of their career, or maybe in the middle, they kind of started jumping for these other roles. But I think it's on track with where The Rock is right now, you know?
No,
Um,
I disagree. And I'll tell you why.
really?
Yeah, because look, Stallone's first movies are Rocky and First Blood.
Right. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
which
His is different. But Arnold,
no,
I mean, he
Arnold,
did
yeah, he did Hercules in New York. Like I get it. I get it.
right.
But then you look at something like Predator. Then you look at Total Recall. Then you look at Terminator 2 and Terminator 1 even.
That's true.
You look at all these
Terminator, yeah.
movies, you look at and yeah, these even though they're action movies, they have a lot like he's not playing the same. I mean, he's Arnold, but I don't know. I just feel that he was good at following direction, which is like what you do as an actor. You follow
Right.
direction from the director.
But see, if you think of what Walking Tall, I didn't care for that movie, but there he was not The Rock, you know?
No, no, but he kind of is. I mean, he's still the like from like okay. My favorite rock movies are The Rundown. That's like my favorite,
Right.
and Scorpion King. I like Black
Mhm.
Adam. I don't care what anybody says. I had a good time with Black Adam. I don't think
I
it's
had a good
mind
time with
blowing.
Black Adam too.
Yeah, but I thought it was fantastic because I love The Rock. So like seeing The Rock in a superhero suit, I don't care how dumb or how not the lore it is. Just seeing The Rock in a superhero suit, just beating ass, like dude,
Yeah.
sign me up, sign me up, dude. I don't care how there's no story or dude, I don't. It's The Rock beating ass. Like give me The Rock as Black Adam, like beating up everybody.
Yeah.
Like give it to me, give it to me. I don't care. Like I could have seen it as like a YouTube short, and I still would have been like, "Dang, this is sick!" Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
yeah, I
It
enjoyed
was
it
fun.
too. And I thought the rundown,
Um,
I think might be my favorite, or Scorpion King. See, man, see, if he would have made more of the
Rundown.
Scorpion King movies, if he would have leaned into that, he would have done what Arnold couldn't do and make that third, the Destroyer, right? Which is like the third Conan movie, which we all wanted to see, and he was supposed to be like an older King Conan version of himself. But I think
Yeah.
The Rock created,
But
well, not created, but he embodied the Scorpion King. I think he could have done it, but then he let it go like to straight to DVD. The sequels were not him, and it was a different
right.
Scorpion King every time. And it was like, oh man, they got lame. But it's like if he would have been the Scorpion King, he could have made at least like a trilogy, and that would have been
Right.
something he would have been known for, right? Like a Scorpion King trilogy.
Well, I mean, what about Hercules?
The movie Hercules,
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
thought it
not
was a
it's
good
not my
take on it, you
favorite
know?
rock movie.
Right. I mean,
Like
Pain and Gain.
Pain and Gain is good. It's good. It's not again, it's not my favorite. I like Scorpion King better. I like Rundown better. Rundown's my favorite
Yeah,
of
but
The Rock.
he's also the main character in those.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Um,
But that's why
what
it's my
was the
favorite
last
movie
one
of
that?
his. It's a big character. It's like
What I'm saying is, well, I guess what you're saying is because they're the main characters in those movies for Arnold and but see, like some of the movies that people thought were out of the box for Arnold, I like really enjoyed, like End of Days,
Kindergarten Cop.
right? But like End of Days to me is a movie that people shit on, and I'm like, dude, I thought it was fucking pretty dope.
It was
It
good.
was a
Yeah.
different Arnold, you know?
Yeah, it's different Arnold. I'm down. But we like
Yeah,
Arnold. That's the thing is like we like Arnold, so we like seeing him in this different stuff because he's different enough. Like he's still Arnold,
right.
but he's different enough. End of Days Arnold is still Arnold, but he's different than Total Recall Arnold, you know? And that's,
Yeah,
and
but
then
you could the same could be said for The Rock though.
no, no, because I agree. I think the same could be said for Arnold if you're talking about Commando and like Running Man. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I think there are aspects of that where he's just like I'm Arnold, and it's like Running Man, Commando, but we love that, right? Which we love about The
Right,
Rock. But what I'm saying is they have these few roles where they really go for their acting, even if it's an action movie. He's really
right.
acting his ass off in Predator. He's really acting his ass off in Total Recall. He's really acting his ass off in Terminator and Terminator 2. I mean, there's a handful here where he's
Right.
like, he's really going for it.
Yeah.
And so yes, but there are
Junior
the True
or
Lies, there are
twin.
Commando, there are these other movies, but I think that's where The Rock kind of fails, where he think about it, Jumanji, Jungle Cruise. I like Jungle Cruise. I liked it better than I don't know if I liked it better than the first Jumanji, the first of the new Jumanjis, but
Yeah,
but it's the same. It's The Rock. He even looks the same. He's even dressed the same. Like it's crazy. And I like it. I
yeah.
like those movies. But like if we're
Red
comparing to,
Notice.
huh?
Red Notice with Ryan Reynolds. You didn't like that movie? Dude, you're fucking intoxicated right now. You're on a good one right now. You didn't like Red Notice?
I thought you were serious for a second. I was like, wait, dude, no shit. Like, oh shoot, dude.
I'm being dead ass serious. You
Caleb,
didn't like Red
no.
Notice?
Oh.
Wow. That movie
Oh.
is the highest grossing Netflix movie of all time.
Oh my
Or highest
goodness.
streamed, most
Yeah.
streamed.
Take a stream my piss.
I'm tripping out right now. See, this is what I'm talking about. You
Dude,
didn't
that
like
movie
that movie?
sucks, dude. What are you talking? What are you Red Notice with Gal Gadot. That's the one you're talking about?
That movie's fun. It's funny.
That
Oh
movie's
my god,
fun.
dude.
It's fun. What are you talking about? Kal-El,
But you but
no.
you can but you can like Adam.
Dude, dude, what? You're co- you're comparing the great Black Adam to like some what I don't know, some weird movie. Like, dude,
A
this is straight
comedy?
to DVD if it was
It's
straight
a
to DVD still existed.
it's a comedy. It's a good comedy.
Oh, it's funny, man. It's hilarious, dude. It's
I got
it's so funny. It's oh
you're
man.
on one.
Dude,
You
you're
must be drunk
crazy.
right now.
Red
You're drunk.
Notice
I'm
is
just
so
gonna
bad.
not even think about it.
Dude, I want to see
You're
what
fucking
people say.
trashed right now.
Red Notice. Wow, you like
I
that
stand by
one.
Red Notice.
Dang.
Red Notice is
Okay.
fun.
Okay, wait. So if you had to compare who's your favorite wrestler actor of all or not who's your favorite, who's but who do you think is the best wrestling actor?
The best wrestling actor? I mean, I'm gonna say The Rock.
Really?
No, like in terms of like you're saying like Hogan, you're
Yeah.
thinking Stone Cold,
Yeah,
John
there's John
Cena,
Cena.
right?
Yeah. Who else is there?
Who else? Who
There's a
else is there?
bunch. I mean, they've all acted in like no name movies. But like if we're talking about
Right,
like bigger name movies, it's
right.
probably John Cena, Batista, The Rock, Hogan, uh who else? That's probably it, right?
I'm gonna say that I like John Cena's comedy,
Okay.
but I am more of a fan of The Rock's movies than any other wrestler.
So
Stone
I'm
Cold
a
is fun too,
huh?
but I said
Who?
Stone Cold's good too, but
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I definitely put The Rock, I think, is my favorite, but I think it has to be mentioned that Batista is he's sick, dude. He's like in terms of acting craft, I think he's the best. I think when it comes to like acting craft, like if they were to do theater, right? If we take the movie aspect out of
Right.
it, because I think if you add the movie aspect, I think Rock is just too big. Like there's just no one that comes close to it. I mean, literally, he is the highest grossing actor of all time. So I think there's just no one that touches that. But if we were to kind of like take that back and solely look at the craft of acting, which one of these wrestlers
Mhm.
is the best actor? I would say it's Batista. I would say Batista is the best.
But so not a knock to Batista at all,
Hmm. Hmm.
but I think because I've seen like I think Guardians for sure. Yeah, he's really great in Guardians, but
Yeah.
like maybe Hotel Artemis is another one.
No, he was.
But
But see, that's what I'm saying. Knock at the Cabin wasn't
like
my
what?
favorite, wasn't good movie. I didn't think it was great, but I thought his performance was really good. I thought it was a really good performance. And not only that, but I don't know if you've seen this. A lot of people haven't seen this, and I think they would freaking love it if they saw it because it's so dope. It was such a fun movie. Um, Bushwick. Have you ever seen Bushwick?
No,
Dude,
like it's old movie, right?
no, it's not that old. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like 2010, I think, 2000 something like that. 2012 maybe. But
Okay.
it's a Batista movie, and he like lives in New York or like Rhode Island or something like that. And basically
Hmm.
Civil War starts. So it's like Civil War, Civil War, the movie that just came out. It's like kind of like that, but like
Right.
way made like 10 years before. And it's basically the camera just kind of like almost one shots. It almost one shots and just follows Batista throughout this whole like dystopian, everybody's like having shootouts in the street, and he's trying to like save this
Right.
this girl and stuff like that. And
Um.
I don't want to give it away, but I think if
Right.
people watch that, they'll be like, oh dang, because I think that might, other than Guardians, I think that might be my
Right.
favorite Batista movie. Oh, no, no, no. Blade Runner 2049. That movie's a masterpiece. But he's
Right.
only in it for a
But
short period.
that's what
So
I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that really counts, but Bushwick, he's the main character and he's freaking fantastic in it. And I think people sleep
I'll
on
watch
that
it.
movie. I think if you watch it, you'll really like it. Like really like it. You'll think
I
it's
just.
really good.
Mhm.
It
No,
has
I
that
mean, again, I'm not to knock him at all. Like I do like
right.
his the Guardians, obviously for sure, but I have to check out Bushwick, and then I'll tell you after.
No, you should. You should. I think it has that like
Right.
Children of Men feel kind of, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
It's like
Right.
it's like that kind of grittiness, I guess, you know? It's
Yeah.
it's, it's not the same, the
Right.
Children of Men is on a different level. That's one of the greatest movies ever made. But it's like that type of grittiness feel to it, you
Okay.
know? So,
Well, I'll put it in on my to do list. But quick little thing before I was gonna say, but yeah, like I think The Rock is gonna dive deep in these kind of roles, especially because he has a Scorsese movie that he's gonna be in, which I think is gonna be fucking. I don't even know too much about it, but it's
yeah.
Scorsese. You
No, well
know,
he's doing
Emily Blunt, I think is in that one
like
too.
yeah, he's doing Hawaiian mob life. So like
Oh, I do
that's
remember.
uh-huh.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember what it
So
was
The
about.
Rock
Yeah,
has to be
so
in
I'm
it. Come
down for
on.
that.
Yeah. I'm down
Right.
too. I'm interested because I'm like, I know he
So
can
I
do like
mean,
Italian mob, but like, how is he gonna do like Hawaiian mob? But I'm still interested. He does mob movies the best, and The Rock's gonna be in it. I mean, come on, man, powerhouse movie. And
mm,
again, I think it's
yeah,
because The Rock is very ego driven, not in a bad way. I think he's just
mm,
ambitious and he like always wants to do better for himself. I think he's
test
just like
himself.
all the time he's doing that. So I think he's listened. I think, and it's not out of like his own. I think it's just he's listened to people talk about comparing his catalog to Arnold's and or even Batista's, and
Right.
they're kind of, and I think he's heard the criticisms where it's like, dude, The Rock's gonna retire and he's not gonna have any of those movies to his name. Those like the Predators, those like T2 movies, those like he's just not gonna
Yeah.
have those, you know? Because even Black
Mm,
Adam,
I
it's great and I love it, but I understand that I love it. Like it as a movie itself, it's not it's not touching T2. You know what I mean? Like it's not doing
right.
that. And it's fun
Yeah.
and it's like it's really cool. Same with Rundown. It's my favorite rock movie, but it's like it's not touching, The Predator. It's not touching
No,
that,
I
you
know.
know? And so I think he's
I
listened to
think
that and he's like, I need to make these movies
right.
that kind of touch that kind of like compete with that and are like the stamped by The Rock, like The Rock is in it, you know?
And I don't think he's making it to compete with them. I think he's making it to stand out past them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, but that's a good thing. That's great. I love it
Right.
because now we're going to get
Yeah.
amazing movies that we knew The Rock could always do. We knew he could always do it. We knew it. We've been asking for it. And now finally he's like allowing himself. He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, Scorsese, direct me." direct me, dude. Direct me, Scorsese. He's like handing himself over to these great directors, right? And so
Mm.
like now we're getting this Mark Kerr movie. Now we're gonna get this Scorsese Hawaiian mob film. Like what? Like dude, The Rock's gonna take off,
Yeah,
and
me too, dude.
I love that The Rock thinks this way because then we win, right? Because then we get these movies because he's just like,
Right.
oh, they think he's better than me. They think I'm gonna retire with no legacy. And then like now he's just gonna be pumping out just classic after classic after classic just because he's like they're gonna say like dude you have to sleep at some point. He's like no, I'm gonna act in all these movies. Like he's just gonna dude. Someone pissed The Rock off and said maybe he can't act, and I want to thank that person. Whoever told The Rock he can't act to his face and like did this and sparked whatever is going on in The
Yeah.
Rock right now. Like that's great. Thank you, dude. You did the world a service, you know?
It was Instagram and Twitter, probably.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, X.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
all right. That's
it's
it for our
exciting.
episode. We ran through everything. We ran through Sinners. Again, if you saw Sinners, this is a great companion podcast because we kind of went through literally everything about Sinners. It's great. But yeah, comment, like, share, subscribe. Until next time, I'm Daniel Rumbles,
And I'm S.A.G.A MC.
and this
Peace.
is a show no one asks for. Peace.
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 No, I said peace. Peace. Peace.
Peace. Peace. And you know what?
Peace.
Dude, I was gonna bring up Star Wars at the end there. No, just kidding.